Hello everybody, good morning. This is Sharon with Boys at Play. I just wanted to take a video of a project that my 7-year-old Matthew had for his second grade ocean project. He needed to do a visual. It could be anything visual, a drawing, a video, anything to your heart's content. And his ocean project, he decided to do the great white shark. So technically, even though he's not gray, you get the idea. It's a great white shark. Sorry, the house is a mess. Been doing a lot of school projects. It's the end of the year, so the house is a mess. There's scrapbook papers on the table, there's seashells all over the counter, and I wanted to do a video on his ocean project before it gets taken apart. And that's what I absolutely love about Lego, is that instead of making those nice keepsake, I guess you would say, those big elaborate projects that just kind of like accumulate throughout the school year and you have no idea where to put them after the project's done. I decided, or Matthew and I decided, to try Lego, and his instructor was happy with the Lego projects. They were well received in his classroom. Of course, all the kids love them. Who doesn't like Lego and the creativity that goes behind it, and the time and the energy and the efforts that go behind it? And the nice part is, after all that, you can take it apart and reuse it and put it back where it was initially. You don't have a lot of projects accumulating over time, and then you don't have the heart to throw them away. Well, I don't mind taking this apart because we can always reuse it and use it for another project. So again, I wanted to take video of his project before it gets taken apart and show you what we did. So real quick, I got a 20-gallon fish tank at a local pet store. 20-gallon, I believe it was, I think, like $50. Sometimes PetSmart, or excuse me, Petco will have their sales of $1 a gallon. So this deck would have come out to like $24. But of course, when we need the fish tank, it wasn't on sale. So we ended up paying full price of around $50. So got the fish tank, and so what I started with was the base of the fish tank. I measured it out first, and then I went ahead and used the base plates and measured out the base, of course, with the base plates to make sure that I wasn't too far over or too short. I wanted to fill up the bottom of the fish tank as much as possible with the Lego base plates. So of course, as you can see here, I used the tan base plates. I didn't have a lot of the big ones, so of course I used the 15 by 15 or the 5 by 5 base plates, and just put 4 of those dark tan ones together, and kind of mix them and transition them into the lighter base plate, because this is one big tan base plate, the 30 by 30, that I do have a hole. So, and then to transition it, all I did was just get some of the same color of the light tan and kind of just blended it into the darker tan, so it looks more of like a transition. So then from there, I started with, since his project is the great white shark, we wanted to do a visual and try and make it relate, because great white sharks will sometimes find easy meals in a coral reef. So these flowers, all these tiny little flowers, we kind of put together to make it similar to a coral reef. So we have tiny, you know, what kind of fish are there at the coral reef? You know, you get the tiny little fish, the angel fish. You always have the little sea anemones. You have little crabs. We did kind of like our version of Dory. And then way back there, there's a little seahorse. And we did some jellyfish out of those little fiery flames that you get from the fire station Lego. And we just attached that to a fishing wire and tied it to the tops of the mesh lid of the fish tank to give it that floating feel. So the bottom represents the coral reef, and then we have some tiny little sharks here, and of course there's Nemo. And my son insisted on putting SpongeBob and that snail there, and Patrick. So that's just him. And so that's kind of like the coral reef, and so the great white sharks will kind of do an easy meal at the coral reef. And then we had a I believe it was the Deep Sea Adventure Lego set that I had bought him like a long time ago. So we incorporated it into the underwater scene. So that one over there of the underwater machine, that's from the Deep Sea Adventure. Of course, this one is from the Deep Sea Adventure, and the broken down sunken ship is also from the Deep Sea Pirate Adventure. And so we incorporated that in there. Sorry, I had to itch my leg, sorry. And so another thing is that we made the great white shark. So even though the great white shark is the quote-unquote top dog, or top of the food chain, every now and then the killer whale will get its teeth on a great white shark. Apparently, some way, somehow, the killer whales have figured out a way to, they have realized, because killer whales are very smart, and they have figured out a way that once the great white sharks are flipped over, upside down, that they're vulnerable, very, very vulnerable. And scientists and marine biologists have found out that they have seen like chunks of a great white shark missing, and you know, like, well, who's killing these great white sharks? And basically it's these killer whales that are getting a hold of these great white sharks. And so we decided to also incorporate this blue whale, or any kind of whale. It looks more like a sperm whale to me, going after this squid right here. And that was from another set, a recent set actually, and it was like a 4-in-1. There was the whale that you could build, there was the squid that you could build, the shark, and also an anglerfish. So it was like a 4-in-1. And so we tried incorporating all of them, but the anglerfish was like huge and it just didn't look right. So we kind of tweaked the great white shark and the whale. So I believe the whale has the great white shark's body. It just didn't look right. But anyway, and also too, great white sharks will eat soft shell turtles, the sea turtles, those leatherback turtles. They'll go after them. And we have a little stingray here, and a carcass of a whale, and a little crab, and a I just forgot what that is. So we tried having a lot of detail in here. We got ideas from the internet to, you know, kind of start with like, wow, what do we do? So I kind of looked at a couple of pictures and we just kind of went off from there. And we have, and this is also from the Deep Sea Adventure. This is from a kit that I bought from online. And the cave back here we had left over from a bat project that he had done earlier in the school year, and my son wanted to take apart the cave, and I said, nope, a cave we can probably definitely reuse again. So I kept trying to figure out, how am I going to incorporate this cave into this, you know, deep sea adventure, you know, ocean project. So I noticed he was playing with some crystals, and I said, you know what, let's do a rainbow of crystals. And so that took a long time to get the crystals going. And then after that, it was so dark in the cave that you really couldn't see the full potential of the crystals. And so what I did was, me being the scrapper, I ended up finding in the garage when I was cleaning, it's like one of these lights, they're decorative lights, and this one takes like 3 AA batteries. And it's nice because, I'm sorry, it's upside down. You have 3 different settings. So you have your off, steady on, flash, phasing. So here's the off, of course, and it's very dark in there. Here is the steady on. Here's flashing. That's flashing. And then here is the phasing, where it's just kind of like a light pulse. You know, it kind of gives it that cool, like, whoa, mysterious look. So what I did was, it has this loop right here attached to this box, and I just got some metal, I guess, wiring, and just intertwined it in here in the mesh top. And then of course you see the wire that comes all the way over here, and and then comes down there. Let me move this, sorry. And you can see that the wire, where'd you go, wire, is all the way going down. You can see it. I tried, you know, blending it into the environment as much as possible, but, you know, when you're kids, you really don't pay attention to that. And basically, I kind of just really wove it in. Let me get in there a little bit more. So I basically, sorry that it's blurry, kind of intertwined it in between the crystals so that it was not so much seen. I'm sure you can see the wiring back there. There's Squidward from SpongeBob. So you can see the wiring, and then once I had all that wiring and lighting in the cave, then I had, of course, a little bit left over, so I had it go underneath this part. So that was really cool. It was a really big hit with the kids, the cave. The boys in his classroom really liked the cave. I figured I'd put forth a little bit more extra effort since it was the last project. And I wanted to do more with this top. I wanted actually this blue lip to go all the way across, and I wanted it to be more of like another scene, but we just ran out of time. So I figured we'd play, you know how Lego always has like that fun little twist, and you really have to look and find, and you'll see like, you know, like a guy wearing a bunny suit just hidden somewhere. You're like, what were they thinking when they did that? That has nothing to do with what the theme of the project is. So my son really wanted the squid, the giant squid, in the project, so we just kind of threw that in there just for fun. So this guy's just kind of like fishing, and he you know, he's thinking he caught a fish like the rest of his other fish. And so he goes and he gets his net thinking, okay, cool, I caught another one, and not realizing that he caught a big squid. So he's just like, what do I do? Should I swim away, or what do I do? So of course your imagination can go wild. And my son built the clouds and the sun. So that was super cute. I loved it. So that is the fish tank ocean project that we did. Feel free to leave comments, ask questions. I'm more than happy to help or answer any questions on how to do anything. I'll try and leave links with where I got like ideas from. But here's the jellyfish. You know, give you a closer idea with the jellyfish. There's a great white shark. And I'll take another video of me taking, or basically disassembling it. I'll take another video. I just didn't have enough time to take a video while assembling it. So I'm gonna have to do Johnny disassemble and show you what I did in more detail. And so here's the back of the fish tank. So all I did was just hot glue it together, the 30 by 30 base plates, the 3 blue, and 2 of them I had to cascade because it was just too long. So I hot glued it. I didn't use a lot, just enough for it to stay on. So 2 base plates, and this one I had to like overlap. So 1, 2, 3 base plates, just hot glue, and that was enough. It worked out. So please watch the next video. That one goes into more detail of like what I did. But if this is enough for you, great. I hope you get some like cool ideas for your project. Like I said, this was well received in his classroom for 2nd grade. Matthew absolutely loved it. He said, Mom, he's like, this project, I don't want you to take it apart. But as it is, I just don't have any room to put it. I'm sure I could make room in his room, but that means I'm gonna have to like clear off a shelf in his bookshelf, and then that means that I'm gonna have to find a spot for his books. So you know that one book, if you ever give a pig a pancake or a mouse a cookie, you know, yeah, you give him a cookie and then he's gonna want a glass of milk, and then after a glass of milk he's gonna want, well, that's the way it is over here at this house. You know, you find room for something else, then you have to find room for that thing. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.